Hello, good evening, and welcome to another live Hero Goalie Co event. And we are very, very pleased this evening to welcome Alex Stadler. Alex, good evening.
Good evening. Hi, nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. And yes, I was told it's not Stadler, it's Stadler. Jimmy made a very reference to that, Stadler.
Yeah.
And Alex, how are you? Are you having a good time, enjoying life?
Yeah, I just been on holidays for 2 weeks and it was great to let the last past year settle and to have some free time and just getting back to training and yeah, enjoying my time.
Fantastic. So, for everyone listening, we've got Alex Stadler here, German #1 goalkeeper, Olympic goalkeeper. We're very, very pleased that Alex has come on tonight to the goalkeeping studio. Alex, I have to tell you, we've had some very, very important guests before you. So, no pressure. We have had Kiko Cortez. We have had Mark Kickman, Jimmy Lewis, Amy Gibson, Tommy Alexander, George Pinner, Ramon Jafreza, a Spanish Olympic goalkeeper in the 90s, John Hurst, lots and lots of big goalkeeping people. We are very, very pleased to have you, and no doubt one of the best goalkeepers in world hockey at the moment. Alex, you're a young man. I know you went to school in England at Oakham.
Yes.
Tell us what that was like, being a German going to school in England.
Yeah, it was crazy, cool, nice, everything together. It was like a lifetime experience for me to be like on the college side, to live on the school campus, to wear a tie and everything for school, to have a different school system, to learn the language, to experience a new sports system and everything. It gave me really much, and I made some lot of new friends, and yeah, it was a
Fantastic.
great time. Sad that it was just for 1 year, but I would love to do it longer. But yeah,
Yeah. So at school, you were coached by Jamie Kitchia, former Scotland
yes.
goalkeeper. I know he's involved with the Scotland national team now. Jamie's a very excitable character, very knowledgeable. Did you enjoy having a goalkeeper coach at school?
Yes, of course, it was huge for me because it was like my first proper goalie coach, and it was like a great time with a great guy, and we're still in contact, still friends, and still chatting. And he teach me so much. And because my goalie coach from the national team is Jimmy Lewis, and they both got like the same philosophy. So I was from young age on, I learned the stuff which is Jimmy teaching me now, which helped me a lot with the national team and everything. So great guy, and he teach me really much. Yeah.
Fantastic. I hear you mentioned Jimmy Lewis there. So just explain to us, because a lot of people online tonight are going to be not just goalies but coaches as well. I know Jimmy. I have been coached by Jimmy myself. So for you, how important is it to have a goalie coach who understands you as a person, who basically you and him have a close relationship, I assume?
Yeah. As you said, you have a close relationship with your goalie coach because you're like a bit separated from the team, and you've got to so much time together on the pitch, off the pitch, in extra sessions. Like the goalkeepers are training so much because we have to do extra time on the pitch after the team training, just on our own with Jimmy. So it's really important to have a guy who is like really relaxed and chilled and understands you and don't give you too much pressure, and you can talk to. And yeah, Jimmy is the perfect guy for that, and he understands you because he's been a goalie himself. He loves what he does. He does it for his love, and you got to feel it on the pitch, and that's why he inspires you to do it with passion, everything. So that's really great to have him. And he's my coach from the national team, from my under 16 national career on now, so for many years now, and he teach me all the way up, from where I'm now. So I'm really thankful for him and for his time, and I'm really thankful that he stays with the German national team, and I will have him for many years. Yeah.
Well, growing up, he was one of my heroes as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite short, and I thought, wow, there's a goalie who's not 6'5", and he was at the top of his game. Very fast. You're probably too young to remember, but he was a very, very fast, agile goalkeeper. Yeah, and also, as we know, great guy.
Yeah.
Now, of course, having a goalie coach is a luxury because obviously, when you're growing up, you haven't always got that person with
Yeah.
you. For you, like,
Of
how
course.
important is it as a goalie to be quite headstrong and to because you spend a lot of time on your own, don't you, as a goalkeeper, especially as a young goalkeeper coming through school and club and that sort of thing.
Yeah, of course. Like on a position as a goalie, you're the last man. Every mistakes could mean a goal straight away, and you could be the man of the match or the loser of the match in every single game. So the head is a really, really important thing. And to be honest, I just learned how important your head is just the past 2 years with everything going on with the Olympic cycle in the Europeans and 2 big tournaments in 1 year as a young goalie. So there was a lot of stuff going on in my head, and I just learned how important your head is and to know how to use your head. And that's a thing. I'm not there yet. It's a process. You got to learn it with your age, and it will keep getting better. And you have to talk about it with your goalie coach, with your family, with extra persons from external. So yeah, that's a learning process, and it's just yeah, probably just
Yeah.
underestimated.
Have you got any really good tips for young goalkeepers listening tonight to do with mental resilience or being really confident in your mind of what you're doing?
Yeah, just be confident in your stuff that you're doing and give yourself the space to do mistakes. Every goalie does mistakes, even if you're 14 years old or if you're Manuel Neuer and probably the best goalie in football, you will do a mistake. You will do more mistakes when you're younger. So give your room for mistakes and talk about them and don't be fed up by them. And yeah, so take them, learn from them, and then do better next time.
I should warn you, I'm a very, very big Arsenal fan. Neuer, best goal in the world. I would say yes a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I like Edison at Man City. I think he's the man, but I won't argue. That's cool. Lovely. So, yeah, great tips there about staying strong. And if you are listening as a young goalkeeper, just want to repeat what Alex said there. You are going to make mistakes. There's not any such thing as a perfect goalkeeper. And even when you have lots and lots of experience and caps or games under your
Yeah,
belt, you can still make mistakes.
of course, every time, every match.
Okay. I've noticed, for example, Maddie Hinch, when she makes a mistake, she has a little system where she'll go behind the goal, take her helmet off, she rubs her face with a towel, has a drink, and then when she throws the towel down, she says it almost like symbolizes like throwing away the mistake or throwing away the goal.
Yeah,
And then when she comes back in, she starts fresh.
yeah.
Do you have anything like that? Little methods or systems you use?
Yeah, kind of. Like the thing with the water bottle also works for me as well. I like to go behind the goal, like off the pitch, off the playground where it happened, and to get behind the goal and just have a sip or just look at the ground. Doesn't really matter. Just get your head off. And then the first thing I will do when I get back on the pitch, I try to communicate to the team. I will talk really much, so I don't give my head space for thinking about just what happened because I'm so much into talking and into chatting with all my players that I can't really think about what happened. So I don't give my headspace for thinking what happened. So and also it gives me more confidence when I'm talking, when I'm positive, and if I'm with the team, and the team feels okay. I'm not just quiet sitting back there in my goal because I just conceded a goal. So the team already recognized, okay, I'm there, I'm loud, I will go on.
Yeah, a lot of young goalkeepers, especially, and some older, who will make a mistake or let a goal in, and then they'll go very quiet.
Yeah,
So I guess that's a good sign of just getting straight back into it with your communication
yeah,
and almost kind of keeping yourself in the game by that line of chat and
yeah,
comms.
yeah, definitely.
Great, I like that idea. Gonna write that down.
Cool.
Okay, so something we've been talking about a lot in these online calls is about the goalkeeper being you're part of the team, but also you're an individual, like within that bigger team.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Obviously, we're doing a team sport. We're 11 players. You can't play without the outfield players. You can't play without a goalie. So you've got your own team, what I mentioned earlier, because you spend a lot of time with the goalie coach because you're like a special team. You've got your little goalie group because you can't train something like striking on a goal. You can train it with every other player, just not with a goalie. So you're so different, and then you have to teach your own techniques, learn your own techniques, and yeah, so you're a team on your own, and you have to take your time as your own team with your goalie coach, with the other goalies, or with yourself, away from the team. But you also have to be with the team to get connected to them. So it's a mix of both. But yeah, of course, you're your little own warrior, your own team there, and yeah.
Good stuff. That's great. Okay, so you play your club hockey in Germany. You've not played any club hockey in England. What's
No.
the standard of club hockey in Germany? I know we assume it's very high, and people watching or listening might not know too much. What's the standard like, and what's the competition like in the Bundesliga?
I would say it's a really high competition. I assume the Hof class, like the Dutch league and the German league, probably are the best leagues in Europe. I would assume. And we've got which for us goalies is pretty good. We've got a lot of good track flickers there. We've got like Gonzalo Pellard, we've got Mink van der Werden, we've got Tom Grumbush, we've got Lukas Windfeder. We have some young from the under 21 German team track flickers. So we've got a lot of good track flickers, which gives you a lot of experience with track flicking, which is like one of the main points in the hockey at our time, and which is really important to defend them and to get used to the best track flickers. So the level of that in the Bundesliga is really high, which is good for us goalies. And overall, many German players are playing in our league. There are a lot of not German players who playing there from Belgium, Netherlands, and all over. So Argentina. So that's really good. So I would say it's a great league to play in, to get experience, and to learn a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Mm. And how do you? So you must know a lot of the people in the league already. They'll know you. They'll watch
Yes.
you
Yes.
play. Everyone watches video now.
Of course.
How do you respond, or how do you prepare rather? How do you prepare? Do you prepare for league hockey the same as you prepare for like Germany matches, or is there a bit of a difference in terms of the amount of video or preparation involved?
Yeah, of course, it's a bit different because, first of all, the stuff when you're with the national team is much bigger. They can give you more videos from past games and everything. It's like, let's say it's a bit more professional, and you've got more time. Like when you're in a camp, you're all there. You not have a lot of university stuff. You're not working. You've got Jimmy to analyze everything, to talk about anything. You've got your runners where you talk about at lunch and everything. So it's like it's a bit more professional. And in the Bundesliga, because you already said you know the players, so you already know mainly what's coming, and then you just watch the penalty corners from the last 2 or 3 matches, where he's good at the moment. Because in the Bundesliga there's so many matches, you can't watch every match and every stroke of every player. So there's a bit different, and yeah, of course you try to like prepare as best as you want for every player, but because you got 2 matches on one weekend, you can't like train everything like you want to, like in a national camp where you got all day long on the hockey pitch and rest day between the matches and everything.
Yeah.
So there's a difference as well. But and in the Bundesliga, there's already space for like trying stuff out. Like you try to develop your style in the Bundesliga to be on point at the end of the season. And the perfect time to train that stuff is during the season,
Yeah.
so that at the end of the season you're there. And as well in the Bundesliga, you just want to stay strong with your game. So not in every game you change stuff up because of the track or everything, because we want to develop things. So yeah.
Do you have a goalie coach at club level as well?
Yes. My goalie coach at club level is Ingo Krüger. He trained me. He was the trainer of my home club when I was young, and then I got to know him when I came back from England when I was like 15, 16, when I started training with the A division team in my home club. And then we started training, and since then we train every week twice together. And he also knows Jimmy, so we all trying to learn and share and stuff together, so to develop everything at the best level that we can. So
Yeah. Do you use any software like Huddle or video software for club?
I think no, I don't. I think no, yeah, I think we use Huddle, but I'm not sure. I think we used to, but I don't know what we're using now.
I think you're meant to say yes. I watch it most every week. I watch it very thoroughly, start to finish. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Got a few questions coming in now.
Yeah.
Helen online. Helen asks, "What's your process for a penalty corner? Have you got a process you repeat time and time again, or is it quite random?"
Yeah, I've got a process. Nah, like it's the lead up is quite random. So I pick up my runners. I tell them where to run. Like who's the first runner, who's the second runner. It's like different who's on the pitch at the time, and then I would tell them what to do if they have to run on the first castle or on the second castle. So and then I will get to myself for like the last 10 seconds of the 45 seconds you've got, and then I will take my position. The position is every time the same. Then I will take my position. I will concentrate on the castle, and then when the injection comes, it's always the same process.
Yeah. So what about if we were to break it down into a lot more detail? So I think Helen's referring to what we do. So I've been coaching quite a lot of process where we break it down as far as you're behind the line, you're looking at the injector, you take, say, 2 steps off the line,
Yes,
and really being really methodical in and trying to repeat that process every single time to try and find some consistency.
Yes, yeah, that's the same thing I do. I don't look at the ejector. I just look at the castle. I'm just looking forward, and then I will stand a bit like my right foot is a bit in front of my left foot, and then then when the trapper gets the ball, when he traps it, then I will make a big step forward with my left foot. So I just do one big step, and then I will stand after this one big step. And then mainly, depending on how long the flick is, I just stand there trying to watch on the ball and then try to react to the ball. But my theory is a late movement, so I can adjust where the castle stands and who takes the flick, and then just to stand on the last really late, so I can accelerate straight away. And I don't have much time, because when I was younger, I was taking 2 steps, and then I was standing there even before the ball was at the trap, and then I was like standing there, and really getting loose of focus and just getting moving into my body. So I try to knock that out with just one step and later.
That's a really brilliant point, and something I, as a coach, really believe in as well. The way you describe that, because as people listening will know, and hopefully they'll know this, that you every goal is looking for consistency. So that system you've just described there is very repeatable.
Yes.
You're looking at the top, one step out slowly. You're setting as the ball's being picked up almost.
Yes.
And then you're not stood still. I remember when I was playing, there's nothing worse than waiting.
Yes.
And then you lose your shape, or you lose your balance. Yeah. You might start to move too early, and everything else unravels.
Yes.
Great. Good. Like that. So a bit of process stuff there. Dominic says, do you have any advice for gym work which is relevant for goalkeeping?
For gym work,
Getting in the gym, like what training in the gym do you do, which is kind of relevant for a
yeah.
goalkeeper?
First of all, consistency. Go to the gym and go there every day. That's the first thing I would say.
Yeah.
And then I would say acceleration and speed is like probably the two main points.
Are you,
So
you lifting as well?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And acceleration, speed, and at some point of the season, strength. So to build up some strength is like I'm a big fan of doing all the foundation work and all the basic movements. So I like to go to the gym and do some cleans, then some back squats and deadlifts, and then like all the big movements to get all the muscles in, and then to do some accessory. I don't do like really like crazy stuff. So I will go to the gym, hit my basic big movements like deadlifts, back squat, and everything, and like with different weights and different weeks depending on the season. Like during the Bundesliga season into the lead up into the summer, I try to get in some strength for the summer, and then when we come to the summer months, I try to get more speed into me. So lighter weights, faster movements, jumpings, and all the stuff.
Mm. Have you ever been an out? Another question here from
Yeah.
Thomas says about transitioning from being an outfield player to a goalkeeper. Have you ever been an outfield player, or were you always a goalkeeper?
I've learned outdoor hockey when I was young because when you're young in Germany, you play on cones, so there's no goalie until you're like 9 or 10 years old. And so until that, I played for the first 5 years of my hockey life. I played on cones and I played outfield. And then for the first year when you were allowed to have a goalie in goal or where you needed a goalie, I played both. Like they were like in Germany, you play like big days where you have like 5 matches in like one day and 4 matches on the other day with like shorter period of playing time. So I played a few matches in goal and a few matches outfield. And then when I was like 11, 12, in my second year, I've been into goal fully.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some really big things. The Olympic Games, fairly big. In fact, you know, that is the biggest as a hockey player and something that we all aspire to. And some of you make it, some of us don't. But I think as a young goalie, everyone dreams of doing that. It's amazing.
Yes.
You're a young man. Tell us about that experience of, you know, going out there. It was, you know, I guess being delayed as well. You had to wait longer than you had planned initially.
Yeah.
But what was it like? I watched every single game, being a hockey geek. Tell us, you know, you were out there experiencing it firsthand. What was it like?
Goosebumps at the first, and pretty crazy. So like the thing what makes it that crazy is like everything around it. It's like not just the moment to walk on the pitch, but just the more like everything around, like the Olympic City, all the media, all the traffic, the Olympic line where you drive on your separate street, and all the stuff which comes with the Olympic just makes a big hype around it, and which when you walking on the pitch and seeing the Olympic rings everywhere. So it's so different because there's so many, I think, Olympic rings, and because everything is so much more professional, this makes it so crazy because you're feeling like a football player. You've got your own changing room with everything where you can put it in a nice drawer. You've got like hundreds of towels, and when you need a new water, you can just call someone who brings you water. So and everything is sorted. So this just something really new and something really special for me, for my first Olympics and second big tournament, and probably something pretty exciting and something really special for a hockey player to be treated this professional, and this all this hype around it makes it so crazy to go out there and play against all the other countries from the world.
So you personally had a really good Olympics. You had made some great saves, had some really fantastic matches. What was the feeling like at the end of the tournament where the team finished off? Was it a good, strong vibe or disappointed vibe? Like, what was the overall feeling?
Let's say the ending of the tournament was a punch in the face, because we wanted more, of course. We played a quite good semi-final against some really strong Aussies and lost it. To be fair, it was okay to lose this game. And then we started off pretty good in the game for place 3. And then I don't know what happened, but something happened on the pitch, and we got lose of control and lack of control of the match, and lost the game at the end. For our team, it was like mixed feelings, because our aims were higher, and the team chemistry was so good and so crazy, and I had a blast to play with all these like older people, let's say, who retired now, like Toby Hauke, Martin Henner, Florian Fuchs. They gave us so much. They gave us so much emotions, and they played their third or fourth Olympics, and they gave so much. They gave everything into it, and this gave us young people so much power and so much emotion. It was overwhelming. It was crazy. So it was a blast for the team, even if we lost. For me, at the end, in my opinion, the last game was my weakest game at the Olympics, with South Africa included. So it was like a bit harsh for me to end the tournament with a not happy performance from my side. So that was quite shitty for me as well. Let's say it like that.
Strike
I
one,
know.
strike one.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Like, let's, to be honest, at the end, after looking back, having a lot of chats with a lot of people, to look back on these 2 years, for me, I couldn't ask for more. Like, with all the Olympic cycle and the Europeans, which was going on, I made a dream come true, maybe earlier than I thought I will. And I learned so much from those 2 years. Probably the most teachful years, which I've been through for the past 2 years, in a good and in a bad way. And
Wow. Sounds very emotional, the whole experience.
it was emotional. There were many men crying. And
and that's why we love it, isn't it? The highs and the lows. It's the whole experience of even just club sport. When you get in a very close knit team, I think people listening can definitely relate to that. And you go on that roller coaster journey of a season of amazing wins, heartbreaking losses. It's a why we love team sport, I guess.
Yes. 100%.
Okay, so the Olympics obviously is already going to be the highlight of your career, and I'm guessing you plan on going to many more.
I hope so. I will train for it. I will do my best for it.
So we spoke to Kiko Cortez, who said it just didn't get old. Every big event just was always special, and it never felt like boring, or he never took it for granted. It always felt special. Like Euros, World Cup, Olympics. So we hope you have many more of those.
I hope so. Yeah.
Have you got any? Did you have any goalkeeping heroes growing up, either locally or people you looked up to or worked with, or even now you might have someone you love the way they play? Anyone come to mind?
Yeah, 2 goalies who come to mind first. The one is a football goalie, Oliver Kahn, who played for Bayern Munich, and he was one of the reasons why I've been to goal. I've got an older brother, and I only got allowed to play with him when I went into goal, because he said when I want to come with him, I have to go in goal because I'm the youngest. And then I always, for birthday and for Christmas, I asked for Oliver Kahn jerseys and Oliver Kahn gloves and shoes and everything. So he was my hero when I was young, with a dad who's a Bayern Munich supporter. So and his style to play, for me, he's like the person who shows like, you're a goalie, you have to be crazy and you have to do your stuff, and you have to do it right. So just go through the player, punch through it, shout at them and everything. That's for me like lovely goalkeeping. And yeah, and then from the hockey side on, it's Max Weinhold, who won the 2 Olympic gold medals with Germany, the past 2 Olympics they won. When I was growing up, he was like in his prime time when I was at hockey camps, and when we were watching the Olympics at the hockey camps together in the summer holidays, I always cheered at him because I was a goalie at this time. And I also did a school presentation about him in school. Yeah, when I was growing up, I was a big fan of him because like he's German, he played in the German league. He was probably one of the best goalies at his time. We're not the best goalie. And yeah, those two come to my mind straightforward.
Yeah, so obviously I'm a massive goalkeeping geek, and
Yeah.
in my garden I have a bar, and in my bar is lots of goalie shirts in frames.
Nice.
So Kiko Cortez sent me a shirt, but one of my heroes in there is not actually a hockey goalkeeper. One of my heroes in there is a football goalkeeper. He was a bit like Oliver Kahn. Have you ever heard of David Seaman?
No.
Played for Arsenal in England. Jimmy Lewis ridiculed me because he never thought Seaman was any good. But I know Jimmy likes the flair. He likes the big dives.
Yeah.
Oliver Kahn, did he have the big long blonde hair? Is that the one?
Yeah, he had longer blonde hair.
Yeah, that's right. Quite crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, got another question here, Alex. Is your mindset or gameplay inspired by anybody else? So, in terms of mindset, has anyone been really influential with you about like being mentally tough, mentally strong? Or is that down to you to is it down to goalie to kind of make their own way like that?
Yeah, I think you make your own way through your experience. That's one way. I was quite inspired by 2 goalkeepers. One is again Oliver Kahn, because I watched a documentary of him after he played the World Cup, and he was like the goalie of the World Cup, and then he lost the game in the final against Brazil because he let the ball slip, and then they made it 2-1, I think it was, and they lost the game with a huge mistake of him. But he played a phenomenal tournament, just did one mistake in the wrong moment, and then he talked back after it and reflected it in a really good way. So this like teach me, so you have to reflect it in the right way and you have to learn from it. That's one thing which I think is always on the mental side. And then one thing which inspires me is Manuel Neuer, because he plays on such a high level through a whole year. So one thing which is pretty still hard for me from young age is to keep the same level the whole year. And as a football player, you basically playing all year round. You're playing through Christmas, through New Year. You're playing with the national team, and he's all there because he's always nominated for Bayern Munich and for the national team, and he rarely does mistakes. So this really impresses me still. How he is always like, okay, he's a professional goalie, he gets a few millions for this a year, and that's the only thing like basically he has to do, but he's still a human, so he still has to perform, and this is a really crazy thing, I think. And one goalkeeper which I think I'm still looking up to is like David Hart. I'm really amazed by his calmness, and because he's like so big and he got so much space to cover, he's just always on his legs, and his movements are so like controlled and everything, and basically always on point. So the style he plays, I really like, and
definitely great goalkeeper for sure.
Yeah.
and also a TK goalkeeper. So you're a TK man, aren't you? Have you always
Yes.
been a TK man, or were you did you find
Basically,
different
yes,
brands?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started off with TK with like 10, then I played oboe for a few years because my home club gave it to me, and that was the stuff which is laying around there,
We were like free
basically.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Who doesn't like? My parents love free stuff. Let's say like that. And then when I moved to Mannheim from Heidelberg, so I learned hockey in Heidelberg, which is my hometown, and then I moved to Mannheim when I was about 12, and then I played my TK stuff again. And then from that point on, when I joined the under 60 national team, I always played TK. Yeah.
I mean, it's not about the brands. I'm very interested actually, just as a onlooker. Why do you think? And it's not a plug. Why do you think a lot of the men, especially men's goalkeepers, are wearing TK? If you go through the top goalkeepers in the world, there's probably more TK than any other brand. You got David Hart, yourself, you got Blark.
Yeah.
There's
Keeper.
lots and lots of in
Yeah.
that European goalkeepers, Kiko Cortez, all the
Yeah.
Spanish guys wear TK. So, I mean,
Um,
why is that? I mean,
I think because there's a few points probably. One is like the weight. TK is really light, so you're pretty fast. TK is really flexible, so you're always good on your feet, which is probably for a goalie like David Hart, who's really big, really important because this would be probably one of the first limiting factors as a big goalie, like to be flexible and to be quick on your feet. So TK is probably pretty good for him because of his size and because like TK got a really wide front leg. So the size of the front side is really big. So this helps you. This helps you a lot as well. And yeah, TK is a brand who's in the game for a long time and they got good stuff. So yeah,
um, it's funny, isn't it? Because, for example, oboe has always been about having that curvy shape,
yeah,
and now they've gone to a flat front. They've got
yes.
you got the square looking oboe, which is
Yeah,
basically going away from its original idea and going back towards a more of a square looking leg guard.
yeah. I think the big difference still is the larger calf side. So that's the one thing TK got a really small calf side, obviously, which gives you more space on the front, of course, but which like makes it a bit more like difficult, let's say, on the inside, but makes it also a bit more flexible. So yeah, there's like different approach, bigger calf side, more protection,
Yeah,
easier to like to do a cross kick on the inside.
yeah,
Um, but also probably a bit less flexible and a bit more like, yeah,
yeah. Of course, other brands are available. Just
of
not
course, yeah,
and it's probably worth saying, in all fairness, everyone listening is probably a goalkeeper or goalkeeper coach, and actually, it's about what you're comfortable in and
yeah,
finding
they're
what works for
different,
you.
yeah, they're different goalies, they're different styles. Like the one goalie stands long on their feet, the one has to smother more. So yeah, you need to find your way, your protection, what you love, what you like, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's kit. Let's talk about the international men's game at the moment. I'm sure you've noticed because you're involved in it. The game is getting faster and faster and faster and faster. And actually, a lot of the changes in the modern game don't always help the goalkeeper. So we've got now very powerful sticks. The speed of the shots and the materials in the stick are allowing extremely quick shots, faster than ever. The
Yeah.
ball is off the floor more than ever, like aerialing into D, 3D skills.
Yeah.
Do you think this is why there's a more of a modern trend in men's hockey where a lot of goalies now are staying back and coming out a lot less in open play?
Yeah, for sure. Because one thing is the speed of the play. when you're running around, the players are too good, they're too smart, they're too fast. They either run around you or they just pass it across the goal, and there's a striker always there. That's also because we're playing more Sonu, so there are more free players because international hockey is more about zonal hockey now, not man marking. So that's one point. The other point is you've got like all the strikers are used to that the goalie is coming out. So you've given them new stuff to do. So when you're staying back, like they don't used to this. And the other thing is mainly all the goals are coming from PCs or like in the box. So it's so important to be in the box at the right time and to be dominant in the box and just to be confident in yourself and to give your trust in yourself that your reflexes are good enough and that the striker has to be due and you don't have to get the ball away from the striker. So the striker has to be due. So you're seeing it more and more. Yeah, you said from Vincent Van Nash, who's one of the leaders in this way. He's playing so defense. Ollie Payne is also playing it. To be honest, I trying to do it more and more. So the past summer, I did it more than ever before to stay back, and it helped me a lot. And I will try to do much better in it in the future. And yeah, it's like a new style. Like you're just getting fed up when you're running around. It's
Yeah,
everything is too quick.
yeah. Short corners, penalty corners rather.
Yeah.
Got to talk about that. Is there a point? Is it getting too dangerous at the top level?
For the runners or for who?
Well, I mean, Jimmy said in our last call there might not even be short corners in like 5-6 years time. He felt it was at the point where if I'm a runner running out with a face mask and the ball's going 90 miles an hour over my shoulder, it's getting quite hairy.
It's getting quite hairy, but it's just getting hairy when the rules of the protection are getting worse. So, as an example, you're like all the runners are protecting their knees, and there was a rule that the knee protection is not able to show, so it has to be the same color than your sock, or your sock has to go over it. So that's for me that's a not good rule because like you need to protect the player, and so just allow them to wear whatever they want to there over their knees to protect their knees, and don't make rules like yeah you have to wear something over it or it has to be the same color or some stuff about this. So as long at the moment, as long as you're good with the rules like that you can protect your knee, your foot, like your balls, your face, your hands, I think then we're still fine. Obviously, it will hurt and maybe give a little injury here and there, but yeah, let's say that's hockey. It also can happen to you when you're blocking a player out of the free game or someone slips or yeah.
Yeah,
So I think as long as you allow the runner to be protected enough at the spots where they need to, I'm okay with that.
yeah.
But yeah,
I'm sure you'll find in
in
the
goal you're
equipment.
fine, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, runners might not say that. What about offsetting? So offsetting of penalty corner is definitely a fairly new thing in the last, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. If you watch hockey in the 90s, like that never happened. Goalies offsetting wasn't even a thing. So how is that helping goalkeepers combat drag flicks in excess of 90 miles an hour?
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's two things for me. One thing is you have to give yourself space for knowing that from the distance where they flick and at the speed that they flick, you're not always on the top level, you're not able to react all the time and at 100%. And you probably from the physics side on you're not able to if you're not reading the flick early enough, so because it's just too close to you and too fast, so you can't be able from your head on to react to the ball, and you have to know that and learn from that. and then there's a thing getting used to it. Like there are many times a year when I'm in club hockey for a few weeks, and the flicker is like just 10% off the top level or 20% off the top level, and then I would come back to national level, and I need a few weeks. And even then, if there's a flicker who's not like trying to get you in the wrong corner just for strength, then you were like, okay, shit, like, yeah, like Gavas in the semifinal, you're like, yo, peace out. And yeah, it's like, it, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's cool.
getting harder and harder, but yeah.
It's also, as you said earlier, it's a massive part. You know, you can argue it's like 50% of men's goalkeeping. I'd say men's and women's definitely different. Like obviously, short penalty corners are big in women's hockey, but
Yeah.
there's a lot less. There are flickers like Matlow and other people, but that's less common.
Yes.
And obviously less quick.
Yes.
But I think in the men's game, if you can't, if you are struggling with drag flicks, then you are going to struggle to progress in the men's game. Would you agree?
If you're struggling with saving drag flicks, do you mean that?
Yeah.
Of course, yes, of course. Definitely. It's like it's just too important. And like if we're letting facts talk, at the Olympics we had one of the worst penalty corner defense. That's just a fact with numbers. And that was one big learning for me. Like, okay, to get at the top level and to win a tournament like the Olympics or like the Europeans, you need the best penalty corner defense because it's just so important. It's like one of the most important things these days.
Mm.
And then you have to get better there, and I have to get better. Like the German team, it also includes runners and postmans and everything, and don't even let penalty corners happen. Of course, that's not just the goalie who has to save the corner, but it's yeah. And if you're not there, you're not winning a tournament. In the wrong moments, we conceded the goalers and didn't conceded the corners and didn't make the corners. So that were the bit difference in the last two matches where we lost.
Mm. Is it hard to stay focused in those big moments when you know you're maybe not at your best or not having a good game?
Of course it is. Now we're on the mental side again, and there's always that's also a thing you have to learn from. Um, you will learn that. You will learn how to set back from a shit goal. Sorry, twice.
Three. Three.
Three times. Ah, I'm not better than Jimmy. But yeah, I've learned it this summer. In the European final, 7 seconds to go, I conceded a corner, which I obviously could save. Yeah, which was in my range to save, and which I should save as a German number one goalie. And then I had a penalty shootout afterwards, and was my best shootout. And then I also had the same example in the semi-final against the Aussies. I conceded a corner on the stick side in the first half from Gavas and saved the second one, which like was for me a great thing. Like to do the same technique again, don't like do something different. I did my routine again. I set back from the first penalty corner and saved the second one on the stick side. So it was for me like a thing. Okay, I learned to set back from a penalty corner and trust in my routine. So this is like a thing where I learned from.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Um, have you got? Well, how do you manage how did you manage pre-match nerves as a young goalkeeper? And was that a big thing for you?
Yeah, but I always were pretty good into translate them into something good because I knew when I was like nervous and when I was like pumped and crunchy and hyped up and everything, I knew I was like, okay, today is a good day. I love those matches. I've always been good in these matches. These are the matches that we do the sport for. And when you've got this feeling, you know the match is important, and then you know, okay, no, it's go time, and that's where like all these thoughts were like thoughts who like helped me and brought me into the game. And then on the other side, these were just thoughts in my head. I always try to calm and don't to overshout and to get too pumped, because you don't know how your players react to it, and if they like it or not. And if they're getting too aggressive when you do it, and just get a yellow card 5 minutes after the start because you hyped them up so much. So this were just thoughts in my head, and I was like rolling like a volcano. But
Okay, that sounds good. What is the biggest issue for a goalkeeper in the modern game? That's from Dale Kemp, who's online. Thanks, Dale.
Good question.
Whilst you're thinking, I think a lot of goalies would say deflections, especially at club level, lower down. But I think,
what's the biggest issue? Probably to have one thing is to have a proper technique at penalty corners, and for don't getting caught up to get in the wrong corner. Like many goalies are just jumping in the corner and it just goes into the other corner. That's one big thing for me. And the other big thing for me is to stay calm. Like, okay, when there's a shot coming, just stay your ground and just react to the shot. So those two things are like two big things, I think, which are really important. How you save the ball at the end when it's a shot. If you save it with like a big left foot or with your left hand down on the floor, like in the moment, it doesn't really mind, as long as you do it like properly and do your one decision and do this decision. Don't like go there with two options. That's like a really important thing, to stay your ground, to react to the ball, and then do one decision, but properly. And if it was the wrong decision, you will learn from it, and next time you will do better. But do one decision, and many goalkeepers are going there with the leg guard and with the glove, and then they don't really do one thing properly. That's like one big thing. And then to learn how to react to drag flicks is another thing, which probably are two things.
Fantastic. Andy Gout, who's a very famous goalkeeper in England. Andy Gout, he says, what would you say that indoor goalkeeper can what can you say that indoor goalkeeper can aid in a young goalkeeper's development? So how can indoor hockey help you as a young goalkeeper?
Yeah, for me as a German goalkeeper where indoor hockey is really, really big, and we play a lot of indoor hockey, it gives you reflexes, like shots from near distance, hard shots from near distance. It gives you your athletics, so you're running around the whole time, like fitness in your kit. Like you have to, like in the indoor hockey, you run out at the penalty corner, so you've got a lot of sprint training, a lot of running with your footwork. That's a big thing for me, to stay fit over the indoor season. Just play indoor hockey for the sake of fitness, and that's one thing. And to learn how to control to play in the D, like you're getting used to many actions. You got like a lot of shots on goal, and you learn like, okay, this is the moment where I have to come out. Like learn circle control. Those three things, probably reflections, fitness, and to how to control your circle.
Yep. I think dominating, as we call it, dominating your circle, really, really important. And I think as young goalkeeper, that comes with confidence, experience, a bit of trust as well, because you have to, as you said, you can't. It's hard to have a really strong starting position if you don't understand how the team are playing. So, if you're playing zonal, for example, you might end up being a bit deeper in the goal, or man to man. It might bring you out the goal slightly and be a bit more aggressive. So, again, that kind of knowledge of the team tactics comes more with experience.
Of course.
Thanks, Alex. Okay, what about going back to, I've got a question here, no name, drag flicking practice with lacrosse sticks. Obviously, if you're a coach and you can't drag flick, to a world-class level. Lacrosse stick is a good second option. How do you get on with those? I know that's not the same, but good for certain things, I imagine.
Yes, my Jimmy Lewis, of course, does it. We do it like nearly every session, sometimes more, sometimes just 10, 20 at the end to get used to it. And my home club trainer does it as well, all the time. So it's pretty good to teach and to train your routine, like just getting your routine in and to train certain things. Just if you want to train like stick side flat, just train it with the lacrosse stick. For one thing, it's really good for concentration because you can't see the ball because it's behind the net. So you really have to react to the ball or you're getting fed up. So for that point, it's really good. And for the goalkeeper coach, he can get a nice flick in harder. And so, yeah, just getting the routine in for training. And yeah, I like it. I do it every session. So yeah.
Just to warn you, I am an absolute beast on the lacrosse. So one day you get a little
I hope
few
so.
of those.
I hope so.
Okay, so we're just looking here now at the future. So you're a young man. You're already an Olympian. Do you use your initials, OLY, Alex Stadler? Do you use your initials after your name?
No, not really.
No. Okay. So what's next for you in what's coming up now? You've got so other countries got the Commonwealth Games this summer, but we've got the World Cup next summer in India.
Yes.
See you there. So what is coming up next for Alex?
For Alex is coming up next, finishing the indoor season. We got a quarterfinal coming up in 2 weeks' time. And then finish up the indoor season. Hopefully, I will go on for another week after the quarterfinal into the semifinal, but we will see. Then after finishing the indoor season, getting fully back on track with outdoor hockey, and it will probably start off with a training camp in South Africa, where everyone, the big team, is coming together again after a long time with the new coach, and we getting back to training, lot of repetitions to getting back on track. Maybe some pro league matches there. Let's see how COVID does. That's the close two things, and then we're getting into the summer. We have like the Bundesliga with my home club and all the pro league matches with the pro league with the German national team. We probably got a long summer just from working because we don't have a big tournament. So it's going to be a working year until the next season in Germany starts, and then we will keep training until like the World Cup, and the World Cup is the next big thing, like in 1 year time from now on. Basically, I think in a few days, in a year, it starts in India. So it's going to be a long year with a lot of Bundesliga, with a lot of pro league matches, lot of getting the things from the past year which you gotta learn, and where you got space to learn, to involve them and to keep them pushing, and then to be in the perfect shape in next year January. That's the plan.
Alex, that is an hour. We have whizzed through that very quickly.
Yes.
Really enjoyed that. Thank you very much. I would like to thank you for coming on tonight. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was a blast. It was nice. It was a good chat. Thanks for having me.
And I look forward to meeting you in person and maybe buying you a beer when I see you next.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. You can. By the way, you can hold me to that. If I walk past you at the bar, you can stop me and claim your beer. I will deliver.
I will grab you.
I'm sure you will. Thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight to listen. We've had a large number of people watching and dipping in and out. So that's fantastic. Thank you for all your questions as well. And it only leads me to wish Alex a great future success with his goalkeeping. And thank you very much, Alex, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Take care, guys. Take care. Thank you very much for joining us.
Bye, guys.